Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle. Today we're going to be doing some 7-inch and 13-inch curly tail worms from AI molds. So unfortunately with the AI 13-inch curly tail worm, you can only get them one cavity per. So I bought 2 of these so I could do 2 at a time, but man, I mean look at that. That is a massive worm. So we're going to be doing a bunch of these today. I'm not sure what color we're going to do yet. I guess we'll just figure that out when we go to pour, or inject, I should say. And here is the 7-inch. So it's a 4 cavity mold. Very nice molds. I've already poured a couple just to try them out, but I think you guys would really enjoy these worms. Nice worms. I haven't gotten a chance to get out and try the action on them yet, but I'm pretty confident that they're going to be good. I also have a tail mold for the 7-inch. I do not have one for the 13-inch. I'm not sure that they even make one at this point, but we might even try some of these too. We'll try some different colored tails and then put them back in the other cavity and see how they turn out. So we'll try that today as well. Okay guys, so I think I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a recycle meltdown. So I'm going to melt these all down and see what kind of color we can come up with for this. And then I'm thinking I want to do some in this mint green color. I really like this color. It's got that longer patterned glitter in it. It's got that whisker glitter in it, so it's long skinny pieces of glitter. So I'm going to try that too. I think that would look really good in a 7-inch and a 13-inch. And maybe what we'll even do is do some of these as tails, and then do the body with this color on the 7-inch just to see what it comes out like. And one thing with recycled plastic is I always like to put a bunch of heat stabilizer in it just so that way it doesn't melt. And then if you can cut up the baits a little bit smaller, it really helps melt things down. Now I think these are hollow bodies, so these shouldn't be too bad, but it helps with the melting process. So again, I add a lot of heat stabilizer just in case. I don't want the plastic to burn if I get it too hot. But let's get all these cut up and melt it down. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mix up a little bit of hardener, because I know that doing recycled soft plastic, a lot of them really are soft and they're very brittle. So I'm just going to put a bunch of hardener in there just so then that way it stiffens up the plastic a little bit. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and do 2 of these 13-inch worms. I'll show that to you again real quick, just a little bit closer to the camera. But really nice mold by AI molds. And again, we got 2 of those. Show that again, just so in case we can. Really nice mold. And then we're going to do the 7s, which again, real nice mold. AI mold does a good job. Hope if I put it on the right way. So once we get this plastic heated up, we'll go ahead and start pouring. I'm going to turn on the fan, so it's going to get a little bit noisier, just so I've got some ventilation going. And we'll be right back when the plastic's hot. So it is starting to melt pretty good. I just wanted to show you guys. Not quite there yet. That's after 3 minutes. And that's almost 2 cups worth, maybe a little bit less. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in for another minute or two. See how much we can get it down. Okay, the plastic right now is good. It's definitely melted down to where I need it to be, but I can definitely tell there's a lot of air in this plastic, and moisture, because it's been sitting here for a while. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the vacuum pot and get all the air bubbles, all that moisture out of there, so that way we got some clean plastic pour. And then I might reheat it one more time, just because it's at about 330. I want it at about 350 or so. Okay guys, I think we're ready for our first shot. Just gonna get these over here, move this a little bit closer to the camera so you guys can see, but I think our plastic is good. We're at about 370, a little hot, but it's not bad. I like all this color. Now, this injector is from Do It Molds, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan because it's not really insulated that well, and it gets real hot. I probably should be wearing gloves when I'm doing this. And another thing too is the air that it pulls up is unbelievable. I mean, that's all that it pulled in. So we're gonna try shooting this, see how it goes. But I think I'm going to do a review on different types of injectors. And this one, like I said, is a Do It. I'm not real thrilled about it. It's not as good as my other ones. The ones that I started out with were from Lurcraft. And they're definitely a thicker. I'm not even going to be able to do that last one. I just don't have enough. And then the other thing too with this Do It Molds is the end wants to pop out because it doesn't have anything latching it in. The other ones I have, the one from Lurcraft is nice because it screws on and it definitely will never come off. And then I have some new bass tackle ones that actually have the little pin that hold them in, and then you just pull the pin, twist it sideways, pull it out like a quarter turn. And I haven't tried those yet, so I'll have to get back to you. But I may do a review on the different types of injectors you can buy and which ones I prefer, and then you can maybe buy the one that you would prefer just by going by the review kind of thing. So let's let these two set up. I'm gonna wait and do this other one, I guess. I couldn't get enough into this injector, so unless I can do it real quick. Let's see if I can do it real quick. It's gonna be real hot, but that's all right. Yeah, I can. Give this a stir real quick. Let's see if I can get this one to suck in some plastic this time. There it goes, that's better. And then I always bleed it off now. I didn't really used to do that before, but to prevent a lot of the air bubbles really helps. So, alright, so we'll let those settle. I'll let this cool off. Again, the only other thing I don't like about it is it gets so hot because it's so thin walled. So I'm going to set this on the concrete floor and let it cool down. It's quick and easy, but again, I prefer these ones. These are from Lurcraft, and they have the screw-on top, so this screws on and it stays in place. And this is my dual injector. I will do a review video on those later on in the future. And if you guys haven't noticed the color, it actually came out pretty decent. It's definitely still green pumpkin, even though there's some red and some blue in there a little bit, not much. But it primarily stayed green pumpkin. And we'll have to see what these things come out like, but not bad for a recycle. It's got a lot of different colored glitter in there. I see red, black, green, purple, might even be some blue in there. I don't know, but there's a lot of different glitter in there. But this could be a really cool color. And then, like I said, I think we're going to take this mint green and we're going to go ahead and make some tails with that color. And we're going to do some 7-inch with the pre-made tails and see how that comes out. Okay guys, these should be cooled down enough. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully we didn't get any air bubbles. That was the only thing I was worried about, because took in a lot of air, that injector, that time. I'm not sure why, but so of course it wanted to come out on this one. But yeah, came out good. I don't see any air bubbles or anything right now. Looks like there was some gold glitter in that too. I can see that in the worms and the tails. But that came out pretty nice. Not bad at all. Let me pull this out of the thing, you guys can see that a little bit better. But that color came out really nice. It's a lot of different flakes. You can probably see it in the tails better. But I don't know if you can see that or not. A lot of different flakes. Nice green pumpkin color. Still came out pretty decent. Not bad. So let's go ahead and open up the 13. I'll show you how big this worm is compared to that 7. Alright. So, big mammy jammy. This thing is unbelievably big. And it leaves a little bit of a tip on it when you try to pull it apart, so I have to just get used to cutting them. But no air bubbles in there, nice, clean, shiny plastic. See if I can zoom into the tail a little bit there. There you go. So, nice. I mean, this is, look at this down my arm. I mean, that is a giant worm. And then let me get a 7 and all, so you guys can have something to compare it to. That's a 7. Crazy how big that worm is. But people throw them here, especially in the area I'm in Virginia, and they catch big bass on them. So, alright, next up, let's try these tails. So, just looking at this mold, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to be able to do 12 tails. So I'll do 12 tails, 12 worms, and that mint green color, and we'll see how it comes out. Okay, so I'm just heating this up one quick last time, just to get some heat on it. I just vacuumed it, got the air bubbles and the moisture out of it, so let's try this. Alright, that looks great. Minimum to no air bubbles in there. Looks good. So we're going to go ahead and inject it. I'm going to use a little bit smaller of an injector, but it's another one of those do it molds ones. I just want to try it one more time. Get the air out of there. Good to go. Let's shoot it. So it shouldn't take much plastic. Their tails, so hopefully we don't have any air bubbles. Hopefully we don't have any missing segments. Try that. Let that cool down. See what we got. Okay guys, let's check this out. Let's see if they came out good. I'm assuming they will. It's a little stuck. There we go. Alright. Looks like those tails came out pretty good. I don't see any air pockets. And I see they got these little catchers in there, so when you put them in the actual mold, I'll show you. Zoom into that, see if I can show you. But it's got a little hole up near the end of the tail where it's going to attach to the worm. See that? See that little hole, that little tab there? That little tab hole? So that'll go inside the mold, and then with the other plastic, when I pour the other color into the big mold, it'll actually fill right into that and keep the tail attached. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Color came out nice. I'll probably have to cut these off instead of just pulling them off because they don't really look like they're that kind of a thing. So, but they look good. I don't see any air bubbles. I don't see any unfinished ones. So I'll cut those off and we'll put them back in the big one. And we'll try doing the tails. the tails in, so we're going to button this guy up. Tighten down real good so there's no gaps. Looks good. So I think we're ready to shoot once we get this melted down and ready to go. So we need a little bit more heat there. Alright, just came out of the microwave. Let's check the temperature. There's a lot of salt in this, so it's a little thicker than I'd like it to be, but it's not bad. But I do want to make sure that this is hot enough to adhere to that other plastic on the tails, because you really want those to mesh together well. So we're going to go ahead and get this heated up good, and then we're going to go ahead and shoot them. I think we should be okay here. Oh yeah, we're well over 350. So I'm going to give this a good stir just to get the plastic up off the bottom, because these are going to be sinking worms. I'm going to go ahead. See, it's not pulling in the plastic. Gets to a point where it doesn't pull. There we go. So we got plastic. We're going to go ahead and inject it. Just going to try to get that plastic off there. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more of these 13-inch worms. So we've got enough plastic left to do both. Should have. Just gonna top off the sprues. Get the rest of the plastic out of there, which shouldn't be much anyway. Put it on the concrete to cool down, and we'll be back when they're cool. Okay guys, these should be cooled down now. Let's take a look. Just picking up some of this extra plastics laying around. Let's see how we made out. That's going to be interesting. So it did make the complete pour all the way down through to the tail. It's got it in place. It's grabbing it both sides. That's a really nice looking worm. Let me show you guys this a little bit closer. I don't see any air pockets, so I think we're good there. That's pretty nice, guys. Those came out pretty decent. I like the color of the tail. I like it meshing well with the green pumpkin, these crazy glitter colors we have here. But that's a pretty cool looking worm. 7-inch worm, curly tail. So nothing new about the process with the injection process. There we go. 13-inch green pumpkin recycled plastic. Works very well. No air bubbles. So I'm going to go ahead and pour up the rest of these. I'm going to make a whole bunch of those. Try to get some of this plastic used up. And I'll meet you guys back here when we get everything all poured. So we'll catch you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, here you have it. I did about 16 giant 13-inch worms with the 13-inch worm mold. I did about 16 of the small 7-inch worms, just plain with the regular tails. And then I did 12 of the tail mold with the mint green tails with the green pumpkin bodies. And this is, again, this is all recycled plastic except for the green. So there you have it, guys. Okay guys, well that's it for today. I wanted to show you guys the AI mold 7-inch worm, curly tail worm, the 13-inch curly tail worm, and the tail mold for doing the 7-inch tails separate. Great molds. I'd say go out and get them if you really want to use curly tailed worms. They're a very nice worm. They pour, they look great. And again, what I was talking about in the video earlier was the fact that the injectors that I use are a little bit different than the ones I just bought. These ones that I used in this video today from Do It Molds. I'm not really too thrilled about them. Like I said, I'll do an upcoming video about different types of injectors and which ones I prefer. The only thing I don't like about these Do It ones is the fact that they get too hot. You have to use gloves with them. Really, you should use gloves with them, really. They're too thin-walled, and the ends pop off a lot just because that's all they are, is just pushed on it with a gasket and they hold them in place. So if you push too hard when you're pushing some of the excess plastic back in the cup, it'll pop out. I've had that happen so many times. So again, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and remember, keep on baiting.